Hey everybody, Steph here. It is now 7 a.m. May, excuse me. So I woke up at around 4:30 this morning because I went to bed really early. Not because of French fries and salad again, just because, I don't know, I just fell asleep. And you know what? I always find myself so much more energized when I wake up early in the morning. Now, of course, getting up at 4 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning is a little silly, but it's also a very quiet time in the city. So I'm able to get a lot more work done. So I was able to record another 3 or 4 more videos for the Python course. And so I'll be editing them later today. So it's fast becoming a done project in terms of the basic courses, all the videos and stuff. And what I think I'm going to be doing with that is to release kind of like a pre-release, if you will, for people who want to get into it. Because it's really good now, by the way. You know, I've been creating these type of courses since 2003. I'm pretty good at putting together at this point. You do something, you do anything for, 14 years, over 14 years, you know, you get pretty good at it after, 14 years. Anyhow, so I think I'm going to be putting it out really soon, maybe next week. It won't be its final form, but you're still going to learn so much from it. And yeah, so I might be putting it out because a lot of people want to get their hands on this course. They want to get going. So that is due. So it's now Saturday. So yeah, it's looking like it's cool out there for Montreal, especially for this time of the year. But it looks like it's going to be a sunny day. And I think I'm going to go out and get myself a coffee. So yeah, this is one of my rare official vlogs. I don't know if I have any subject in particular, any lesson in particular to discuss. Well, something I was reading about I find interesting. Bill Gates and Zuckerberg have been talking about 2 things. Number one, they've been talking about AI and robotics and how that's the future and so on, and I would tend to agree with that. And they're also talking about how so many jobs are going to be lost and people are going to have to adjust for that, and the government's going to have to adjust for that because you're going to see tens and tens of millions of jobs are going to be lost, and that's it. They're not coming back, and I don't think there's not going to be jobs to retrain to. So that being said, if you get into programming, you get into whatever language and so forth, that's not going to go away anytime soon. AI, it's going to take AI a long time to get there, although the type of programming is going to shift. I remember back in the 1990s, there was a big market for small business apps for small business. So VB developers, I don't know if you guys are aware of Microsoft Visual Basic, which was basically Microsoft's rapid application development environment. That was called RAD, for building apps for Windows. Now, back in the days, Windows apps were where it was at. That's what you needed to do, is what you wanted to do. So there was plenty of business for small developers just to build apps for companies using VB. And it was largely a drag and drop GUI type of environment. And then you would stitch it together with snippets of code, really. And it was quite effective for building apps on Windows. When you wanted to build apps for Windows only, VB was the way to go, especially for most apps. Now, this is old school stuff. You would never do this today. The reason I bring this all up is because things have changed quite a bit. You won't do this. VB is all but dead now. Just legacy stuff is, I would imagine, is done on VB. You don't hear anything about it. You don't want to go there. So, but programming skills that you developed back in those days using VB, you had to learn a few new things. But the fact of the matter is, you had a lot of. If you did a lot of VB coding, for you to jump into modern day coding, it wouldn't be such a huge hassle for you, rather than starting from scratch. So this brings me back to a broader question people ask is, should I learn this language? Should I learn that language? I've done many videos on it. And I think the overall message I'm always trying to convey is that you shouldn't be so concerned about the language, because whichever language you learn, you're going to be able to apply those skills in any other languages, really, because they're so similar these days. Now, I'm not saying you should go back and learn VB. I wouldn't do that, because the paradigm is so different from where it is now. But let's talk today, whether you learn PHP or Python or Java or C# or Swift or Ruby. If you find you learn X language, you learn Swift, and you find that nobody's developing iOS apps with native languages anymore, they're all moving to the web. Well, for you to move over to the web won't be such a big deal. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be too scared about that. Anyway, Python is an AI, and machine learning is what I would be looking into these days if you're thinking long-term and big projects. But again, PHP for web app development, for WordPress development, small business development, that's also big too. A lot of work there, a lot of legacy. People have tons of businesses that have WordPress sites, and they don't want to take them down. They're going to need WordPress people to help maintain them and stuff. So there's so much work in so many different areas. You can't go wrong learning to code, regardless of the language. Anyway, went off on a tangent there. Same old message, right? Same old message, really, I've been talking about for a long time. There are certain principles that I picked up a long time ago, and they are true today as they were true back then, and they will be true tomorrow. Anyway, that's it. I'm off to get my bagel and my coffee. It's my daily habit. It's my daily habit. It only costs me $5 a day, so it's actually a pretty cheap habit, and there are a lot more expensive habits, but I'm glad I don't have any inclination towards. So yeah, I'll stick to my bagel and my coffee. All right, I'm off.